So when you think of Nintendo and sports, what comes to mind? I'm sure most would think something related to Mario and think tennis, golf, baseball, or strikers. But I would be proud if some of you came up with boxing. In 1984, Nintendo was able to put boxing and gaming together to create their memorable arcade title Punch-Out! And I'll tell you from experience, it's tough, but good fun. Nintendo had high hopes and it paid off, so now it was time to figure out what else you can do with this successful sports game. The obvious answer for Nintendo was to make a Game & Watch out of it, though they may have already had that in mind before Punch-Out! Was successful. It's boxing. Nintendo likes to keep it simple with their names sometimes. DS for dual screen, N64 for playing Nintendo games in 64 bits, Game & Watch for playing games and telling time. They can also do the same with their games. This boxing Game & Watch was released on July 31st, 1984, as the first G&W in the Micro vs. System series. Now, we previously looked at the second Micro vs. System in the series, Donkey Kong 3, and I will say you're in for most of the same because apart from the game, everything else is basically the same. Obviously, the color is different too, and in Nintendo colors at that. In case you forgot what the Micro vs. System is about, it means you can play in two different ways, either versus a computer or against another person. In the case of boxing, I'm sure you can figure it out. On the sides we have the same logos like on the front, and the model number, which makes a lot of sense. I'm sure you can decipher what the BX stands for. There is one flap that's been torn off, but that's something you might have to expect when buying boxed stuff. The back is more of the same except for a barcode on the pictures. Wish they didn't put it smack dab right there, but it doesn't matter now, for it's time to take a look at the G&W itself. Here is that oval shape we all can't take our eyes off of. Everything is pretty much the same in terms of look and style, with having logos in the same places. The only difference is the name of the game and, again, the color. We are getting closer to the Christmas season as this video goes up, so this is fitting the theme appropriately. On the left of the screen is your game and time buttons, so you can test out the LCD display, adjust the alarm, look at the time, or play a 2 or 1 player game. The screen is very colorful and nostalgic for me. I'll tell you why a little later. On the back is your typical information concerning the G&W, including serial number and battery info. But the battery compartment isn't here, so where is it? Well, it's quite simple. That compartment is within the controller compartment. Here lies the controllers you use to do boxing with. The same circular controller with a soft interface that you can extend the wire out and wind it back in when you're done, just like it says on the lid. Under the wires is the battery compartment. This Game & Watch takes 2 LR or SR44 batteries and can last 6 months to a year of play and time. I'm glad they were able to stay consistent with the battery life as the games kept changing. Now, if only we could reach this length today with modern handhelds. 6 of these screws hold this thing together. I keep mentioning how this was uniquely built, and it's almost like a reverse multi-screen G&W the way it opens. Before getting back in the ring, let's take a look at what contents are in the box. We have a manual this time around with a Micro vs. System, and it looks like in later G&Ws they put the caution and warnings inside the manual as opposed to having their own slips. For the times they are a-changing. We also have a Maxell container that originally housed the batteries. I wasn't positive if G&Ws came with batteries or not, but it looks like some of them did. I will say these aren't the original batteries that came with it, but let's use up some juice and play another round. With the name like boxing or the title of Punch-Out, you should know exactly what is going on. You, being the right boxer, must try to knock down your computer or human opponent on the left. Each boxer has 50 hit points, and whoever loses all those points will be KO'd. You can block and dodge punches just like any other boxer, and there can be brief round intermissions before the action continues. I remember playing this game in Game & Watch Gallery 4. It was my favorite game on there as I was actually pretty good. And when I learned about the Game & Watch line and this being on it, I knew I just had to find it. And when I did, it brought me back with the exact same noises and sounds I remember. And if you are able to find this G&W out there, whichever version that may be, you should absolutely pick it up. It's one of the most fun Game & Watches in the line, let alone the Microversus series, and let's be honest, it make a good game to draw out your aggression with. It also make a good display or clock. I wonder sometimes if anybody does still use these as a clock, especially one like this. It's Boxing Punch-Out! I have a lot of memories with Nintendo handhelds one way or the other, whether it was experiencing modern takes on G&Ws with Game & Watch Gallery 4 or playing Super Mario Land on the Game Boy. Good times were had by me, especially when I made the jump to not only having one screen, but two. And on the next episode we'll look into my childhood and my DS that was lighter than the rest. If you think I missed anything, please leave a comment. If you like what you see, leave a like. If you think others could get knowledge out of this, share this video. And if you want to see more, go ahead and subscribe. Now if you'll excuse me, nostalgia is calling.